Hello everyone, and welcome back to another preview video for the Tribute to Normandy DLC for Steel Division 2, as we this time look at the most OP division in Steel Division Normandy 44, and see if it's OP in Steel Division 2 as well. 4th Armored, where it arrived late to Normandy 44, just like in real life, where it also arrived only at the 11th of July, was really, really busted, and we're gonna see if that's the case here now as well. So let's jump in here and let's have a look into the Recon tab, where we start with the Bantam. Nice little Recon vehicle that was already really strong in Steel Division Normandy 44. It's not quite as OP in Steel Division 2. We have seen it a couple times by now. The amount of flying around AT weapons and the different ranges that are the classic standard ranges in Steel Division 2, making it a lot harder for the 750 meter range MG here to really find targets. But Bantam still not terrible. If you want to have a 50 cal armored truck, then this is the one to go to. It has a radio, has some armor, so small arms can't deal with it. So there is some value to it, and you have some slots here. I still don't see it on this availability though. I feel like the Bantam should have higher availability. I mean, we have Pumas with 6 availability on one card. I don't know why the Bantam doesn't have that either. So at that point, then the Bantam would be really strong, at least 5 per card. This way, the availability is just too low for it to really get going, and that's an issue for sure. Recon is pretty standard, but you get good transport options. You get some nice Jeeps, you get some M3 with 50 cal, you get some M20s with 50 cal. So a lot of options here for fast transports with good firepower here. And that for sure helps out the Recon and the Scouts if you want to get them out there. Especially the M20 with its high speed, quite nice there. M3 is one for the 4-man squad as well. So the Recon here coming in good transports. The next unit that is pretty interesting is the Ammo and Pioneers. Sorry for that. M5 carbines, semi-auto, TNT, and bazooka. Quite the interesting Recon squadron for sure. 5 hit points, relatively low. You don't want to get it really into CQC, but it can survive there with the TNT potentially. And the bazooka obviously is a nice one as well. And you can bring them in a 50 cal Jeep or truck as well if you want to get some extra firepower around there as well. So that could be interesting. Obviously with the nerf to fallback all those support weapons a bit better. So we're gonna see how those trucks will perform nowadays. Cavalry Scouts, pretty classic as well. Their transport it can go up to a half track with a 50 cal, so that's an option there as well. And yeah, they have a bazooka, they have a smoke. So pretty classic squadron as well. We have seen them a couple of times already. They are always pretty good. So that makes me somewhat optimistic for the Ammo and Pioneers there as well. Trading kinda the TNT for the smoke grenade. So that's an interesting option. M5 Recon Steward here, pretty standard as well. M8 in all phases for both of these. Pretty classic Recon there. So yeah, a good armored Recon tab for sure. Infantry tab, pretty standard. Nothing special here. Armored rifles that can come in half tracks in all shapes and forms. They have the bazooka. Then you get the armored rifle leaders with SMGs. Not a great one. 25 points. Yes, they have a radio. They have a millipede. But you don't really want to get them in too close. So no smoke or bazooka here. And 25 points instead of 30 points leaves them somewhat meh. Engineer leaders, I mean, they're pretty similar there. It's decent leaders, but they're both not the most amazing. Armored rifle bar, getting a bar here in addition to the normal weapons, and that for sure gives them a decent amount of firepower, but obviously also costs them 5 points, so decent trade-off there. A solid 25 point squad, but not amazing with only one SMG. Can be worthwhile though, so armored rifle bar, not the worst unit either. Engineers, not the greatest in the American tab, only 9 hit points, leaves them a bit wanting, and the M1 Garants are nice, but no LMG here in comparison to Soviet or German engineers, so they're not having the greatest firepower, and the hit points really leave them losing out against a lot of other engineer squadrons out there, but the availability is not fantastic either. It's a slight bit higher than the German one, so that is nice, but still not great. Armed LMG rifles, these are pretty solid. These get the double Browning for another extra 10 points. They lose the bazooka as well though, but the extra long range firepower here is really key. Those are your long range guys, though you have some other options for that as well, in form of the rifle lates. And I would say that for the most part, these are the ones that you want to go for, as the 2 extra hit points are worth the slight extra firepower on the full long range for sure. Plus, the rifle lates also can fight better in CQC thanks to the automatic rifles functioning in 100-meter range as well. So are just way more flexible, and you don't need the extra half tracks here, because with the normal armored rifles you already get enough half tracks up there, and you want to have some of these guys around with their bazookas together with the armored rifle lates. It's a pretty solid combo, like the normal armored rifles versus or armored rifle bars with the rifle lates. Fantastic combo, gets you a pretty solid infantry squad slot. It's not the most amazing, but for an armored tab, it's on the stronger end for sure. So for armored, doing fine here, better than 3rd armored for sure, and that's already something that they take over from Steel Division Normandy 44. Tank tab, a pretty good one as well. You get some fast stuff with M5s and M8 cavalry especially, that can go around and just zoom on the battlefield. You get a good couple of the classic M4A1 Sherman with the 90 frontal armor and the 90 penetration. Then you get the M475, which basically for free gets 110 instead of 100 frontal armor, and that is a pretty strong little tank here. Availability is not the most amazing, but which is their one weakness, I guess. That's what they pay for with, but in price they are as expensive as other Sherman 5s, for example, and they have 10 extra frontal armor there, which plays a big role. Like 100 to 110 is a big jump. So the M4 here doing pretty fine. And you then get the M4A375V here, which is a pretty standard one, but a bit faster. So that is nice. It goes 43 kmh, is a 100mm one, so that is nice as well. Pretty fast Sherman here, M4A3. And then you get a Rhino with the 120mm, so actually having better availability than the M4 here, but paying the extra 5 points for going up to 120mm. So M75 and Rhino, pretty solid Shermans to go around with. And then you also have one card of 76 coming from B phase onward. So you have some of these guys around, though your long range firepower is nice here, but it mostly comes from your anti-tank tab. The Shermans are mostly here for tanking, and there the M475 and the Rhino are really welcome in comparison to the usual American stuff with the only the M4A1 with only 90mm frontal armor. So Shermans here, really nice. You get some command versions as well, which is helpful, and that really gets you through the game for the most part. Tank slots pretty affordable as well, and support tab is nothing to slouch at either, because you get flamethrowers, you get 2 cards even if you want to get a bit better CQC. You get some decent fire support with 4 different versions, all 3 different versions of MG, all American MGs are welcome here. You get some interesting options with supply as well. 2 standard 10k supply trucks here with the M2HT and the GMC, where the M2HT is just a better option, by the way, because it has some frontal armor over the GMC and they are the same speed. But you also get the M30 cargo, which for 50 points gets you 1,500 supply, 15,000 points of supply instead of the 10,000 that the normal ones get you. So you get that for a discount, and you also get it more per card in supply, as you get the same number of units. So a lot of supplies flying around here with the M30 cargo, really making your supply life easier, especially if you want to auto-spam. And there are some decent options there, so that is nice. And then you get 2 cards of support Shermans, which is pretty nice as well. One with 110mm frontal armor, one with 100mm frontal armor, and heat shells. So that's a nice option as well. 2 solid support tank Sherman options here to just fire long range and get the enemy pinned down, and really helping out your infantry tab, really helping out your tank tab as well, stunning down enemy AT guns, and now with the heat damage and all, that goes pretty hard. So the support tab here really doing great stuff. And then the stuff down here, the commander's pretty standard. Yes, you have a really hot looking commander here with the ace, but outside of that, the commander not really special there. The anti-tank tab though is quite special, because Hellcat's already pretty annoying in 2nd Infantry Division, but here in the OG you get 4 cards of them. And they come with 3-2-1 availability in A, or 6-4-2 availability in B, so with 1 veterancy you can, for example, go for 12 for them in A and B phase, or get another extra 2 in C phase here and really bring it around the numbers and really have it zooming around. Yes, you don't get any M5 guns, only M1 guns next to it, but Hellcats zooming around, being annoying, can be quite the interesting starter with this deck. 81 km road speed, 65 km off-road speed especially, so these guys, we already have seen them zooming around. They at least are only 8 hit points nowadays, not 10 hit points anymore, but at that speed and with the high penetration on long range, Hellcats are pretty scary. And they will be scary in this division as well. You're gonna be worried if you fight with Panthers or anything like that, or especially if you fight with anything shorter range than these guys. And they are just gonna zoom in, shoot you, and zoom out again. So M18's really strong still, 60 points, really affordable as well. So gonna be fun to use again and pain to play against. Though hope they are not quite as OP as they were in Normandy 44. AA, pretty solid as well. Not the most amazing slots, but you get a lot of cards. And the M15 is a fine AA piece. The M16 not so great, but at least a bit buffed since its worst days. But yeah, the M15 here, fine AA piece, does its job. That's what you need. So reliable but expensive AA. And then support artillery, you get a pretty solid tab. You get M1 155mm pieces here with their 4 rounds per minute, pretty decent. M12 GMC here with 3 rounds per minute only. Yeah, that's a bit painful that there are only 3 rounds, but outside of that, a pretty good self-propelled artillery piece as well. And with the free amount of artillery supply you get, it's really affordable to keep these guys resupplied. Mortar half-tracks coming in from the early game onward. Mortars with radio. Sherman off-map, which unfortunately has only a fake gun, so it can't be used as a tank afterwards, at which point it's a bit too expensive in my eyes, but outside of that, a pretty solid artillery tab, really. It can do its job quite fine, and you get enough cards for making that work as well. And then air tab, quite some cool options as well, including 2 AT P47s, some napalm, big napalm canisters here, and some big bomb P47 bombing options here as well. So a really interesting air tab, but low numbers. Rosie the Rocketeer, obviously being the highlight of it all. It actually hits quite decently, but obviously bazookas are not the most amazing thing out there. But yeah, Rosie, if you want a meme and you want to have a cool historical unit here, Rosie is back for you. So yep, a really interesting little deck, and it's pretty strong again. It is maybe even OP, though not as broken and not the best division out there like it was in Normandy 44. As gameplay obviously works a bit differently here, and some of the units are a bit more balanced maybe, but 4th Armored still will give you a quick, fast, hard-hitting American division, and that is nice. That is really nice to have around. So with that said, guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye, and have a great day.